Well, first let me tell you a little about this book. When I was a young man, I was in the U.S. Navy. I was in submarines. Does anybody know what a submarine is? Okay, I spent a lot of time underneath the water in a submarine, and I had some little boys at home. And when I would come back from sea and go back to my house, my little boys would always ask me to tell them a story. So I made up a little character called Little Baby Snoogle Fleejer, which was a young sea monster. So every time I came home, I would tell my boys a different story about the little sea monster named Snoogle Fleejer. Later, my daughter Amy went to art school, and she had a project to illustrate a story about, there was a fairy tale. So Amy spent 300 hours and painted 13 big pictures, about this wide and about that high, of the little baby Snoogle Fleejer. And those are the pictures that are in this book, done by my daughter Amy. So this morning, I'm going to read this story, and I hope you like it. I think I'll use my glasses so I can see a little bit better. Once upon a time, there was a little boy named Jeremy who lived with his mother in a small house near the sea, near the ocean. His mother earned a bare living for the two of them by washing clothes for some of the wealthy families in their town. Jeremy loved his mother very much and was proud that he could help her with chores around their house. Being crippled, Jeremy was not able to run and play with the other children. One of his legs was very badly hurt, but he could move around using his crutches. He enjoyed reading and studying and was a very happy child. One of Jeremy's favorite places was on some big rocks near the beach where the ocean waves came in a spot that was protected from the strong ocean breezes and usually warmed by the sunshine. His mother had taught Jeremy to swim when he was quite young, and he enjoyed being in the water. He limped slowly when he was on the shore, but he felt free and at home on the waves. The other children often played on the beach, and he would watch them at their games. They never asked him to join them, and sometimes one of the larger boys would try to make him cry by teasing him about moving so slowly and not being able to play tag or to chase a ball. However, Jeremy was a brave lad, sure of his mother's love, content even though he could not join in the children's games. One summer day, Jeremy was watching the other children playing volleyball on the beach when suddenly there was a commotion in the sea. Something large and strange was approaching them, appearing every now and then above the surface of the water. It must be porpoises. It could be a whale. All of a sudden, an enormous head came out of the waves, and the frightened children screamed, "It's a sea monster!" They all ran away as fast as they could, all except who? Jeremy. He reached for his crutches, but one of them slid off the rock and fell on the sand, just as a strange creature was coming out of the ocean. The monster's eyes were as big as softballs. Its ears hung down like a large burlap bag. There were spines on top of its head and down its back, and there seemed to be 100 huge teeth in his gaping mouth. The beast was horribly ugly and frightening, but strangely, he seemed to be smiling. Jeremy was almost too frightened to move and could only wait to be eaten up as the monster drew nearer. "Don't be afraid," the creature said. "I'm not going to hurt you." Jeremy was amazed to hear these words, or any words at all coming from the sea monster, that he stopped scrambling for his crutch. Finally, he was able to talk. "Who are you? What are you? Where did you come from? How did you get so large? Why are you here? What do you want? His questions poured out, and the monster laughed. Wait just a minute. Give me a chance to answer. My home is deep in the sea. I am a baby Snoogle Fleejer, very small compared to my parents. They have always warned me to come near the shore only in very lonely places. But I've slipped away a few times to see if I could find a friend. But people always run away when they see me. You're the only one who has ever waited for me to get close enough to talk. You must be very brave. Would you like to play with me? I would have run too, said Jeremy, but I dropped my crutch. I don't have many friends either, and I can't play because I'm crippled. The sea monster said, would you like to go for a ride? There will be a lot of people coming in a few minutes, and they might want to harm me, but we would be safe at sea. I'll be careful, and I'll bring you back after a while. Jeremy climbed onto the monster's head, and the little baby Snoogle Fleejer moved carefully out through the waves. They swam along near the shore. They asked each other a lot of questions and enjoyed each other's company. Finally, Jeremy told his new friend that he had to go home. He didn't want his mother to worry. Okay, said the Snoogle Fleejer. Would you like another ride tomorrow? They agreed that only his mother should know about his strange experience. Jeremy rushed home all excited, but when he tried to tell his mother what had happened, she interrupted him. Hush, Jeremy, I'm busy and don't want to hear any more. Your imagination is running away with you. Maybe you've been reading too many books. Taken aback, Jeremy decided to keep his secret to himself. Jeremy found time to meet his new friend often, and they had great times together in the sea. Sometimes they would even go under the water for a short time with the boy holding tightly to the Snoogle Fleejer's big ears. It was a happy time for both of them. One day, Jeremy returned home and was surprised to find his mother sitting quietly in her rocking chair. He noticed that her work was not finished, and he asked if anything was wrong. Yes, Jeremy, she replied. I have always been honest with you, and there is no reason now not to tell you the truth. I'm sorry I have not been patient with you. For several weeks I have been sick. The doctor told me that I am very ill. The operation that I need would cost a lot of money, and I have been able to earn only enough to pay our bills and to buy food. I just don't know what we can do. Jeremy tried to comfort his mother. He promised to help her more around the house. The boy was so busy taking care of his mother that he had no time to visit with the baby Snoogle Fleejer. Despite their best efforts, his mother became weaker and weaker as the days went by, spending more and more time in bed. One afternoon, when his mother was resting quietly, Jeremy returned to his favorite rock. A few tears were running down his cheeks when the baby Snoogle Fleejer saw him sitting on the shore. What's the matter? The Snoogle Fleejer asked. It's been a long time since I've seen you. Why are you crying? Jeremy explained that his mother was ill, and they did not have enough money to pay for the operation she needed. I wish there was something I could do. What's money? Asked the baby Snoogle Fleejer. Maybe I can help. Jeremy tried to explain what money was, and finally he took a few copper coins out of his pocket to show his friend. We need much more than this, though. Do they have to be the same color? Asked the monster. No, said Jeremy. Silver coins are worth more, and gold coins are much more valuable. Come with me, said the baby Snoogle Fleejer. They moved out into the deep water and far down the coast until they reached some sharp rocks. Wait here, the baby Snoogle Fleejer said, and he dove under while Jeremy swam around on the surface. He returned after a few minutes, and the boy took his usual perch on his friend's head. They swam silently to shore. After Jeremy climbed off, the monster opened his mouth and dropped a number of gold coins onto the sand. Jeremy gasped in surprise. "Would these be helpful?" the Baby Snoogle Fleejer asked. "There's a large chest full of them in an old wrecked ship on the bottom of the sea." Putting the coins deep in his pocket, Jeremy hurried home as fast as he could. He showed his mother the treasure. She had never seen so much money in her life, and asked Jeremy 100 questions. He told her all about the Baby Snoogle Fleejer and their many adventures together, and she no longer questioned his story. They were both so happy. Now she could have the operation. After his mother was well again, Jeremy took her to meet his monster friend. She wanted to thank him for helping. They all became friends and enjoyed many seagoing trips together. Jeremy soon became a hero among the other children who saw him riding on the little Baby Snoogle Fleejer's head. "It's unbelievable," they said. "Jeremy is really strong and brave. All by himself, he has tamed a ferocious sea monster." Well, when I was your age, I read all the time, and we had a teacher in Plains named Miss Julia Coleman, who was our school superintendent, and she had a list of about 100 books, and she would ask us to read as many as we could, and I was the only one in our school that read all 100 of them every year, and I was really eager to read. And later, when I went off to college, I went to Georgia Southwestern College first, which is now university, and then I went to Georgia Tech in Atlanta. Then I went to the U.S. Naval Academy, where I learned how to be a naval officer. And then I studied nuclear physics at Union College in Schenectady, New York. So I went to 4 different colleges. And then I went into the Navy and then into business. And then I ran for the state Senate, and then I ran for governor of Georgia, and then I ran for president of the United States. And then I started writing books of my own, and I've now written 13 books. And they've all been bestsellers, and that's the way my wife and I make our living, is selling books. This particular book, by the way, belongs to Amy. When I got through writing it, I gave it to my daughter, Amy. So every time somebody buys a book, Amy gets about $1, I think, or something like that. And it sells a lot of books. So Amy has refurbished her house with income from the book. But all the way through my life, I've continued to read, and it's been one of the best things I could possibly do. It gives you even a better education than you get in the classroom. Everybody in the classroom usually has to kind of study the same thing, right? But if you read a lot, if you're interested in a particular subject, you can choose books that just tell you about that subject. You might be interested in animals, you might be interested in stars, you might be interested in history, or you might be interested in foreign countries, or you might be interested in how people live together, or you might be interested in different things. Well, you can just pick out books in the library that suit you, and the other kids in the class might not even like what you like. So reading expands your minds, and when you get ready to go into high school and college, everything you read really helps you as much, I think, as studying the courses in class. And it also gives you a lot of pleasure. Later on, no matter what you do, whether you be a farmer or whether you become a nurse or a doctor or whether you go into the Navy or Army, you can always find a book that you like and read, and it gives you a lot of fun when you can't go to a movie or something like that. So for pleasure, increasing your knowledge, and for learning about other people, reading is always very important. So I hope you'll all continue to read as many books as you possibly can. It doesn't really matter what kind of books you read much. Just read, and then you'll naturally graduate to different, maybe books with more words in them, more different kinds of words in them, but you couldn't do anything better than to read books. And I hope you'll continue to do so. And I hope sometimes after a couple of weeks you might read the Little Baby Snoogle Fleejer again. Or maybe, if you could, can I check out books?
Yes, sir.
Now maybe you could check it out of the library and maybe take it home and read it to your brothers and sisters. All of you can read, right? And write stories. Well, okay, and I'm looking forward now to your teacher sending me some of your stories that you've written. Okay?
As a matter of fact, we have in this bag, we have some goodies for you, President Carter. And this is one of a book that a class has written, and we just got some goodies in here for you.
All right, well, I look forward to that.
Class.
Well, I really have enjoyed being with you.
And we
Thank you for letting me
appreciate you
come.
coming.